Yes, what's going on, people? We are back with a brilliant brand new episode of Bolts, Bars and a Bit of Bird. Today we're going to talk about IPP sentences. The trial of an alleged escapee who spent hours on the roof of a high security prison in his underpants is set to use for the first time the stress caused by IPP sentences as a legal defence. Joe Outlaw, what a name. He must have changed that. Outlaw. It's spelt how it says as well, Outlaw. Like a cowboy. Billy the Kid, Outlaw. Is due to stand trial on Monday for climbing onto the roof of HMP Frankland, Durham in June 2023 in protest at the imprisonment for public protection IPP sentences he and others are serving. The 38-year-old has been in jail for 13 years. Much of that in isolation after receiving an IPP sentence for robbing a takeaway at gunpoint in 2011. He says he does not remember the crime because he was drunk and high on drugs. I myself received 6 years for 3 armed robberies, serving 4. No IPP for me. 2 months before his Durham protest, Outlaw staged a 12-hour sit-in on the roof of HMP Strangeways in Manchester, where he wrote 3 IPPs in paint on the roof. He is due to stand trial for escape from lawful custody in allegedly damaging the roof of Strangeways and for starting a fire in his cell as part of a suicide attempt. Oh no, I've got a good idea. Don't help him out for his suicide attempt. Give him an extra charge instead. Give him more bird. If the stress of an IPP is literally sending him to want to roast himself to death, give him a little bit more time, eh? And also, where did he escape from? You know, the charge, escape from lawful custody. Where did he escape from? When I got on the roof in Aylesbury, I was charged with failing to follow a direct order and entering an out of bounds area. Where are you escaping from? You're on the roof. The case raises once again the issue of IPPs, which 2,544 prisoners were still serving in March despite the sentences being abolished in 2012. That's disgusting. That ended what campaigners described as a cruel system was not retrospective. Just imagine being forced to do anything, to carry out anything that was outlawed, Joey outlawed, 23 years ago. A spokesperson for Reform and Rebuild, a prison advocacy group which is set to give evidence in the trial, said it was well overdue for courts to take into account the stress caused by IPPs. The sentence has led to a lot of destructive behaviour among prisoners, the organisation said. No shit, Sherry. Sherry Nichol, a campaigner whose brother is serving an IPP sentence, said that under the previous Conservative government, many prisoners grew absolutely desperate when they were told they would not be resentenced. Why wouldn't they be resentenced if the IPP sentencing guidelines was outlawed, said, oh no, this is illegal, then the boys that are still in there serving those sentences should at least be resentenced. If most of them were resentenced, they'd all be released by now. That's the problem. There were a few of the IPP prisoners who then took their lives because they decided that they were never going to get out, she said. I have seen more than one IPP sentenced prisoner lose their minds behind a door. A normal person could not possibly understand what it would feel like to know if they were never getting out from prison for committing a crime that wasn't murder and that they probably carried out when they were a teenager, as most IPPs did. When I was in Bedford, there was an IPP prisoner from Doncaster who had already served 11 years and had been recently knocked back on his parole. They said, you're not getting out, meaning he would have to serve at least another 2 years minimum. Whilst in his cell, he began to chop away. Because the screws were scared of him, he wasn't sent to the psychiatric ward, he wasn't sent to the healthcare, he was sent to the punishment block for doing that to himself. Whilst down there, he totally lost his mind and continued to hack himself to bits, and he was doing his rectum, his backside, his a-hole, to put it politely, and he was just left down there. He went from being a normal guy. I met him. He was normal, got knocked back on his parole, and went totally insane and started doing that to himself, and they put him down a punishment block and just forgot about him, just left him to it. Another boy in Wormwood Scrubs, serving an IPP, slashed his own throat. The stress of not knowing when you're getting out, when you haven't committed a crime that warrants doing 10, 15, 20 years. It is a joke, and they should all be released. Mary Nicole stated, "Nobody's been resentenced yet, but we are looking at human rights. That's another battle, but we will get it. We'll definitely get it because it's cruel and inhumane. I think if we don't keep fighting and jumping up and down, then it'll just be forgotten." Like is what they're trying to do with it. They're just trying to just brush it under the carpet. I mean, a lot of these people they don't get out because they don't misbehave. They get told by whoever, you've got to do this course, this course, this course, this course, this course in order to get out. And then they're in a jail that don't do none of the courses. And so 2 years down the line they go, "Oh, well, you haven't done the courses, so we can't let you out." You go, "I've been sitting here, I've been asking to get shipped out to another prison to do these courses." And they go, "Well, this course doesn't count anymore because we've realised it makes you a better criminal," or some waffle. And they go, "Oh, we've added, this one's just been invented, so you've got to do this one now." So 8 years turns to 10 years, turns to 15 years, turns to 20, and hardly anybody knows about it. And also, most normal people don't care because you're led to believe that criminals are all pieces of shit, which they're not. Campaigners have made some progress over the years, for example, in shortening the licences of those released from IPPs from 10 years to 3 years. Nicole said this meant some people could go on holiday with their families and have a life again, because 10 years is a long time after you've suffered. It's a hell of a long time. It's a whole nother sentence. Life sentence. But, she added, the government won't admit they're wrong. So we have to go round trampling around things delicately. I've got a question. Would the British government act cruel and inhumane just to save face? You decide that one. Until next time, stay united, stay strong, stay free.